This week's vlog is going to be a little different. It's going to get a little personal. But this channel is starting to become like a real thing. And I think it's important for you to know who I am, why I do what I do, who the person is behind the videos that get posted online every week. So, this is my story. I didn't start going to church until middle school. My parents started having some issues, and in an act of desperation, when everything else just wasn't working, he turned to God and found a local church, and we started going to that briefly. After we thought that all of our problems had been solved, we kind of stopped going. And it wasn't until high school that we started going back. If I'm being honest, it had a lot to do with a girl, the reason that I went back. And for whatever reason, it stuck this time. But it all kind of started falling apart right around the same time. My parents had split up for real this time. My grades were dropping to the point where I was in danger of not even passing high school, not even graduating. The girl that I liked ended up with another guy who I thought was my friend. And all of that happening at the same time got me to a really low point where I looked at my life, just my mere existence, as insignificant. Well, all the stuff that was happening around me, I wondered if anybody would actually notice if I just kind of stopped showing up, if I just wasn't there anymore. Actually, in a lot of ways, I thought that my life was an inconvenience to the people around me. As if me being there was doing more harm than good in so many ways, that people were just worried about hurting me instead of living their lives. And what pulled me out of that was the seriousness that started in the church. For whatever reason, I got thrown really quickly into a leadership position and started learning things that were blowing my mind, that I would have never thought to even consider in a million years. I was connected with a lot of mentors, a lot of people that were really serious about what they believed, and really into apologetics and philosophy, and engaging with other people, and really putting on the face of Christ in front of people. And I fell in love with that. It ended up being something that I wanted to dedicate my life to. And it seemed like everything from there was directed at something. I was doing all this stuff that I never thought that I would have done. I found myself up in front of people whether it be for some kind of church thing or stand-up comedy or improv. I did all this stuff that so outside of my personality. Standing up in front of people and making them laugh and trying to be funny and trying to like promote an ultimate goal, trying to stand for something that actually mattered. After high school, I went to community college, and I took a semester off before community college, and I found myself trying to catch up to all of the people that had grown up in the church and knew all these things that I just didn't know. And I just studied whatever I could learn, whatever I could get my hands on, whatever resources or knowledge that these other people knew that I was completely unaware of. And I went to community college after that. Because I had destroyed my academic career in high school. It just made the most sense, but I'd always intended to come and study Bible. So I went to community college. I joined the debate team at school, and it did really well. I was learning so much about how to interact with people, how to engage with people with their ideas. I was surrounded by people that believed something completely different than what I did, and engaging back and forth in such a way that's like so non-threatening, that's completely contrary to what you see in the real world, is pretty incredible. I thought that's where God was directing me. Debate, arguing with people, just general, I don't know, philosophy or something. I used to take the bus to school, to and from community college, and the day that I was going to submit my application to the school, I was ready. I was sure that I was supposed to go off and study communications. I was going to switch my major on the applications, and I sat next to this lady that, for whatever reason, was just interested in what I was doing, why I was at school, what I wanted to do with my life. And I told her that I was a Christian, and she got all excited after that. She told me about what the Bible had done in her life, and how she grew up being afraid of God, even hating God, because the Catholic school that she grew up in was very hard on like physical punishment, and it gave her this perception of God that was totally skewed. She told me about how later on in life she had learned to love the Bible, and how much it had done in her life, and how much it had taught her about love and what God's actually about. And I went home that day and submitted my applications to go study Bible, because it was pretty clear from then that that's what God wanted me to do. I do what I do on this channel for a lot of reasons. I love what I do. I want to do this with my life. This is my career. This is me trying to get a foot in the door and like just start doing what I want to do. And one of the big reasons that I do it is because there are so many people that have this perception of God, this perception that He hates us, this idea that he's all about hatred and suffering, and a lot of people tell me that I don't really believe what I believe. That just early on, the experiences, the emotional trauma that I went through and pulled out of it because of Christianity is some kind of like emotional response. I really believe what I believe. And I pursue what I do because the people have this completely skewed perception of who God is, the God that saved my life, the God that pulled me out of the absolute worst time in my life. A time that I thought I didn't mean anything. And he showed me that I'm actually here for a reason. I'm here doing this because the people that are saying these things, the people that argue relentlessly against God, sometimes just to hate on it, sometimes just because they have a bad experience. I think too often it's our fault that happens. And I want to do something to change that, to help people see the God that I saw. The God that did work in my life. I hope my story has encouraged you in some way to realize that the way that you act, the face that you put on in front of critics especially, it is their perception of who we are and who God is. And I think that's incredibly crucial to remember when we're approaching other people. Not that their faith depends on us, but that we have a serious responsibility in remembering what we're here for, what our mission is. So I hope my story has encouraged you. And I'm sorry if it was boring. But I thought it was important to share. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next vlog.